Hey folks, Marc LoPresti here from beautiful Atlantic City. $190 billion wiped from the technology sector today. Atlantic City Batman, what the hell is going on? All that and more coming up on the Rebel's Edge.
Welcome back, everybody. Marc LoPresti and I are here at the MicroCap Conference put on at the Caesars Resort and Casino in lovely Atlantic City. It would be lovely if it was the summertime, probably, Mark. But we're indoors anyway. So, you know, there's a lot of folks, though, from Wall Street here, both on the buy side and the sell side. And it's a pretty big event. And I bet Atlantic City's happy to have it because there's not a lot else going on, Mark.
No, not at this time of year. It's a terrific event thrown by our friends over at Deal Flow Media. They have asked, of course, both of us to speak and address this audience. I spoke this morning on detecting fraud in modern markets, which was a very interesting conversation. I talked about Madoff. I talked, of course, about SBF. And how body language and personality cues are my biggest bullshit detector these days. And Jon is going to be addressing the crowd, I think, at 3:30, if I'm not mistaken, on options and small caps. It's going to be a great speech, I'm sure.
Oh, it'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. But let's dive right into Macro Minute, Mark, because, folks, if you're new to the Rebel's Edge, every day we give you Macro Minute, Fantastic Futures, and then a bunch of quick takes on stocks. So Macro Minute today, I know you coined the phrase already, Mark. What the trek? What the tech? What the trek? What the tech? I'm going to say it's the tech drift and the fact that this is the second day of that two-day Fed meeting. We're about to hear from Jay Powell at 2:01 p.m. Eastern time today.
Yeah, and listen, I think the market knows what's going to happen. We're going to hold, right, a pause, as we used to call it in the spring of last year. So that's not where the news is going to be from Jay Powell's conference. It's going to be in reading the tea leaves from those prepared remarks and perhaps the off-the-cuff commentary that comes during the press conference. So we'll be watching that. Still looking for first rate cut, not before June and maybe even longer, although, Jon, this morning's jobs numbers, I'm sure, put a little bit of sugar in Jay Powell's coffee. He wants to see that slowing labor market. That's exactly what we got this morning. But yeah, what the tech?
What the tech? And now, Fantastic Futures.
Fantastic Futures.
Now, I know we've got Fantastic Futures man, Mark, but we also have AC Batman here, figure that you have run into from time to time.
Yeah, quite literally. I mean, this is a guy that he's a citizen, a vigilante that walks around in a full Batman costume with, I think, the Deadpool crossed samurai swords on his back and fights crime. So shout out to you, Atlantic City Batman, for keeping the streets safe. Well, as safe as they can be here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, we appreciate it, AC Batman. Thank you. As far as Fantastic Futures, Mark, it feels better, I'm sure, for people long Bitcoin that it's gone back up about $2,000 from 41,400 to 43,000. So I'm going to say that's my Fantastic Futures today.
Yeah, and listen, I don't think it was a big surprise to see a little bit of a sell-off from that amazing pop that we had on the ETF announcements. There is going to be, we had a lot of folks that were talking to us about this in Puerto Rico last week, I think 4 or 5 conferences ago now. Jon and I have been on one of those world tours. We might get like the Springsteen style jackets. This is conference number 6 in 8 days that we're speaking at. But a lot of the folks in San Juan saying, look, this sell-off is temporary. We still have a lot of upside to go in Bitcoin. There's a lot of big purchases that are going to need to be made coming into those newly approved ETFs. So I'm staying bullish on BTC, Jon, medium term here for this year.
Likewise, Mark, likewise. All right, well, let's dive into a new product that we've got, Mark, because we have marketrebellion.com/research. This is a new AI product that we're bringing to the world. It's got 35,000 global stocks that you can get let me try to say that again. You can get fundamentals, technicals, and sentiment from this device. It is fantastic. It runs like that. So if you typed in Microsoft or Google, two of the stocks that reported earnings, it would tell you the sentiment that's on all the socials for it. It would also tell you what's going on with the technicals and fundamentals. Where's support and resistance, and what kind of fundamental data did they put out? It's $19 a month, folks. So if you're looking for something that can help you take a look deeper into the stocks that you're trading for $19 a month, yeah, it's an AI product. That's how we can do it so efficiently. But just go to marketrebellion.com/research and you can see more about it. All right, Mark, we're on to Paramount Global, and Paramount has just a huge pop in the early part of the day, as much as 20%. It traded through 17. Why? Well, because Byron was making a bid for it. That's this Allen Media Group is what he runs. And he basically said, I'm going to pay a 50% premium to where the stock's trading. And of course, we talked about this in early January for the big activity from Ellison's son being involved and Apollo. Now it seems like there's another bidder, Mark.
Yeah, we covered this, albeit very briefly, with our great friend Liz Clayman on Thursday when you and I did her show from the Miami affiliate studios. That was a heck of a lot of fun, and thanks to Liz and Jake and everybody at Fox for having us back on. And this is a bit of a ballsy bid, right? That's the only way that I can describe it, because, paying this much of a premium over the current stock price, lots of analysts covering Paramount saying that Paramount's current stock price does not take into account the company's continued financial problems, mounting debt, their less than advantaged position in streaming. So we'll see how this one plays out, but very, very interesting. And yes, this is one we've had unusual in. We've been covering it since the early January, and one to continue to watch as this latest bid plays out.
Absolutely. Well, then what about Microsoft, Mark? Sort of, I guess I have to say mixed, because initially the reaction was a sell, even though they blew by estimates. And one analyst said, this is an earnings report that should be hanging in the Louvre. It's just such an absolute standout. I mean, look at the numbers, Mark. They came out with revenue of $62 billion. AI kicking in big time, Mr. LoPresti.
Yeah, listen, for sure. And a 20% quarter over quarter growth in their Azure. That's, of course, their cloud-based compute business that is helped by generative AI's continued adoption. But look, I think this is a sell-off that is unwarranted. I think this is more about a broader tech sell-off that's really driven by Alphabet's numbers and the market's reaction to that. This is a company that is going to continue to dominate not only generative AI for chat, of course, but also, as we say every day now, B2B, SaaS, enterprise AI. That's where the money is going to get made this year. That's what we're following. And AI, and Microsoft, is certainly a leader of that pack. So might look to maybe buy some of the stocks off the day's lows as we're now live on air. Still under pressure, but I think unwarranted. This is one that's going to go higher this year significantly.
Oh, yeah. Topped $3 trillion a little over a week ago, and it's holding that number now. All right. So Mark mentioned Alphabet, or Google, as some people still will refer to it. They came out and beat on earnings, but the advertising growth was disappointing, at least according to the big analysts that follow this one. They were not happy about what generative AI and other AI are doing to Google, and might make people less likely to buy ads through Google. That's a problem for them, Mark, but it's not like they're down 20%. It fostered about a 5.5%, 6% drop, and then it just kind of held there.
Yeah, I mean, this one's slightly off the day's lows, but look, this is kind of an opposite story relative to a stock like Microsoft. Google is actually facing some pretty significant market share challenges that are generative AI based, and it's really around search, right? So Microsoft's ad revenue is tied really to search engine optimization, SEO. You're looking for this, you want to buy that, and if the generative AI offerings, not only from Microsoft, but from others, can usurp that and replace that functionality, Google loses its foothold on that ad revenue from search, and SEO becomes a lot harder for advertisers, and they will not maintain that virtual monopoly that they've had, certainly in the United States. So not good news for Google, and I'm concerned, Google Alphabet, of course, and I'm concerned that we might see additional pressure on the stock in the coming quarters as a result of that condition.
Well, we I guess could have named today's section, Mark, AI giveth and AI taketh away, because
That's true.
AI is certainly a game changer for many of us, including that product that we talked about with you guys, the marketrebellion.com/rebel, or research rather, sorry, /research. It's less than $1 a day. You can try it out. You couldn't possibly A, hit that price point, or B, be able to do all that analysis on 35,000 stocks without AI. It's not humanly possible, especially in the basic blink of an eye, Mark. You can get fundamental, technical, and sentiment. But let's talk for a second about AMD, because they're certainly at the forefront of AI. It's practically their DNA these days, just like NVIDIA. But the problem is that programmable chips, gaming, PCs, that didn't really carry the ball as well as people hoped. And that's why this stock got hit. The artificial intelligence, great. But the rest of it, not so great.
Yeah, and listen, I think this might be another one where we might have a bit of an overreaction, perhaps not as much as the case with Microsoft, but I'm not sure that this sell-off is as warranted. This is a company that is in the top three. NVIDIA, of course, slightly ahead, but AMD in that top three contenders that will benefit the most from the picks and shovels, right? The chips that will continue to power not only AI, but the overall demand. I say this all the time, John, don't bet against the growth of data. The overall demand for additional compute, for cloud, for storage is only going to continue to drive demand up for what AMD does. So keeping an eye on this one as well. I think it might be a little bit oversold.
Yeah, I think this is a solid stock. I like Western Digital too. Different play, I understand, solid state drives and all that sort of thing, instead of the old spinning drives. But nonetheless, I think some of these techs, if they get pushed towards correction territory, they're a buy. All right. Since we don't have Pete, since you've got Jon and Marc, we could have hit some more sports, but instead we thought we'd cover conspiracy theories, because who better to cover conspiracy theories than Taylor Swift, Marc? Many of the Swifties are thinking that there might be something going on with the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift and the NFL, and they tie it all together. And this particular video, I think, will make a lot of you laugh and a lot of you scratch your head and say, wow, is that really true? Take a look, folks, and Marc and I will comment.
Super Bowl 58.
5 + 8 = 13.
What?
13 is Taylor's favorite number. She is doing all of this.
Yeah, well, she has been to a lot of games. Says she's been to 12 so far.
Super Bowl will be number 13.
Yeah, and on the other side, a crazy comeback by the 49ers.
49. 4 + 9 = 13.
Right. Anyway, the Niners are a good team. They're a 1 seed.
What are the Chiefs?
A 3 seed.
1 seed, 3 seed, 13.
Okay, but isn't she going to be in Japan for the Super Bowl on February 11th?
2-11.
Well, that's the day.
2 + 11 is 13.
Okay, but she can't possibly get there in time for the game.
A nonstop flight from Tokyo to Vegas.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
13 hours.
Okay, fine. I guess she could make it, but it's not 100.
Maybe.
100.
Oh boy.
100 minus 13 is 87, which is Taylor's boyfriend's jersey number.
You're really stretching it here.
She is a mastermind.
Okay, but not everything is 13 related, right? Like this game will be Travis Kelce's 22nd playoff game. Oh no, I immediately regret
I
saying
don't
that.
know about you.
Yep.
I'm feeling 22.
Are you going to be doing this for the next, I don't know, how long until the Super Bowl?
13 days.
Naturally.
You know, John, I recognize her. I think that's the woman that was on the airplane that's got sat next to an alien. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I don't think it's the same woman though.
Not even.
That dude is not real.
Yeah, Xanax and wine don't mix, folks. We're not doctors. I know John is Dr. J. We're not licensed physicians, but I can tell you with certainty that Xanax and wine do not mix.
And we won't even ask how he knows that.
The video we just watched.
Oh, okay. So not personal experience.
No, sir. No, sir.
Folks, thank you for joining us. We will be back tomorrow with the wind-up for the week on Thursdays, because as you know, we travel on Friday. Heck, we travel every day this week, Mark. But we appreciate all of you joining us. Please send questions, comments to Marc LoPresti or me, or at Market Rebels on Twitter. We appreciate all of the support, and we'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Bang.